Everyone, and welcome to another vlog. I am at California's Great America, and today I thought I would take us on a little walking tour of the park. So come along with me, we'll just go do the full circle lap around the park, and I'll narrate what I can throughout. Let's go check it out.
Alright, right away we'll walk past the famous Columbia Carousel. I've mentioned this in previous videos, but it is the world's tallest carousel, tied with the other Great America in Illinois. But they have some fountains surrounding it. It's one of the nicest things and original things of Great America. So still there, still running. Two-story carousel. We're going to head into Orleans Place and make a full loop around the park. So Orleans Place is based on New Orleans, of course. And right away, there's some initial shade, but it becomes pretty exposed and sunny. They have a churro place, of course. No theme park can go without that. The Marriott's had the upper floor of this building called the Consulate as their private kind of apartment at Great America, when this was Marriott's Great America. Currently used for like events. You got some New Orleans figures there in the middle of here, and then store, the Bayou Outpost, which does actually have some of the discounted Great America items if you are so inclined. Walking past here, I mentioned in a previous video, this yellow building was formerly a buffet. It is no longer anything. You got the Snoopy Rock store over here, so for all you Peanuts and Snoopy fans, there you go. It is a nice shaded area to walk through. A little pro tip if you're ever taking shortcuts in the park, like I'm about to, although I guess I'll show off some of these other things. There's the Delta Flyer, which is a famous, original to the park, sky bucket ride. You got a voodoo store over here with a giant voodoo doll and pretty interesting window displays. Yeah, pretty interesting, the giant voodoo doll too, of course. They weren't kidding about that. It is Voodoo Charm is the store. And they actually do have interesting window displays. I'll show one in a second. Just in this Orleans area. Here's this woman here next to the Great America Street sign. And then Flight Deck and the Theatre Royale, which used to have shows, but Flight Deck is a famous roller coaster. It used to be Top Gun when this was a Paramount park. We'll watch one of them go in action. It does some loops and corkscrews. There it goes again. Corkscrew. Got the Vortex ride over here. This is the back of the Vortex. The actual line is in the hometown square area of the park. We'll make our way to All American Corners now. So you see the Welcome to All American Corners sign here. With the carnival theme that they have. That's supposed to be the forever theme here. Eternal Carnival. But they do have, as part of this, the American Cafe. They also have this gazebo bandstand area that still has live performances every now and then. You can see those sky buckets going up above. The American Cafe actually has pretty decent 1950s theming. We'll go ahead and walk inside. You can see these 50s looking doors. A little bit the Mac Saved by the Bell vibe going on in here too. But you have, of course, the 50s cars on the walls here, and the seating, of course, looks very 50s. And I think they actually did a pretty good job with the wall displays here as well. You can see music and movie stars from the 50s. You got Elvis, of course, and some of the other stars here, guitar, records, all things 50s going on in this cafe. Jukebox, of course. wouldn't be complete without it. So it's actually a pretty well done cafe. Never eaten here. My food plan does not have access to this cafe, unfortunately, but classic American food. Shakes, malts, burgers, fries, you name it, they got it. Over here we have it's the Flying Eagles ride, just this kind of spinning eagle. There's a lot of spinny rides in this area. You got the Liberty Twirler over here, not in motion at the moment. Some shaded seating areas, so it's good. Gotta always have that. And the Rapid Rides is behind that, not running, and then behind that is the Orbit ride, original to the park, which is currently starting to spin around. You go into the individual seats there and go for a spin. Of course, they have these covered bridges that the idea in the original Great America would be kind of walking through these classic, it's a very American thing, the covered bridge, and you would be taken to a different land. These lands were originally all parts of America themed, but now they're kind of a mix. You have some of those lands with Orleans Square or not Orleans Square, that's Disneyland, Orleans Place and Hometown Square. But this area now is still part of All American Corners as Mass Effect New Earth, the 4D ride. It's actually pretty well done. It's a pretty good one. Would recommend going on it. And then you see a bucket overhead here. And just over here is the South Bay Shores area, which is a water park within Great America. Definitely a big hit in the summer. And just past the South Bay Shores area is the Delirium ride, which takes you up and down very high. Not currently running, but it's also not one I ever go on anymore. It's decently thrilling, so if you're into that kind of thing, they have it. We're going to head to the Yukon Territory, or what was the Yukon Territory of the park. But just before that, where the water park was where the water rides once were. And it was kind of like a New England theme, and you see little remnants of that in this section of the park. But we'll go ahead and go through the covered bridge and head into the Planet Snoopy area of the park. So the Planet Snoopy area has been around for quite some time, and again, this used to be the Yukon Territory area of the park. Loaded with, of course, Peanuts characters, so all things Peanuts can be found here, including Charlie Brown, Friends, Snoopy, of course. You got this kid roller coaster over here. Very small track. It goes around twice, but the kids seem to love it. You got the buckets going above over here as well. There's some, of course, the Charlie Brown characters as part of the decor of this area, the theming. And again, these buildings to my left here were formerly the Yukon Territory buildings, and you can see that. Here's that taxi ride roller coaster. That's a big hit. And you can see that detail in the shops and buildings that were here. A little more of an old West Yukon theme. We'll go ahead and walk past this area, though. Another, of course, Snoopy store. There's no shortage of Snoopy or Charlie Brown items if you're in Great America. So here we have some of those on display for all of you Peanuts fans. We have this Sierra Creek Lodge restaurant, which used to be a Yukon themed restaurant, but now it currently is sort of a campground nature area themed restaurant, which is kind of interesting considering it's in the middle of Planet Snoopy, but that is the theming. You have the Peanuts Pirates ride, which is another big hit with kids, just spinning around on these kind of cars that are supposed to be boats, and Snoopy up above. We'll go ahead and climb the steps towards the Dippin' Dots section. Another Planet Snoopy photo opportunity here. A lot of people take pictures here. And you cross from Planet Snoopy into the next section of the park. As we cross this bridge, which actually has an underpass for the behind the scenes area of the park. You have one of the original rides to the park. It was called Fiddler's Fling. It's now called Centrifuge. Another spinny ride for all you spinny ride fans out there. This Great American Hot Dogs and Snacks area, which has been here for as long as I can remember. I think it's original to the park and it hasn't changed since opening. You got the Psycho Mouse ride. In another video I talk about how the line for that was a former train station when the park had a train. You also have the Eagles Flight, which is just the other end of these sky buckets. Here you can see some people taking off. So they count this as 2 rides because there are 2 stations within the park. It's a good overall aerial view of the park. And just over here is the Tiki Twirl ride. This used to be Survivor the Ride. It's now generically themed as Tiki Twirl. And we're making our way into the NorCal County Fair themed area of the park, which has original Midway games that were part of the original Great America Park, and with the usual low attendance to them. You have Drop Tower, which was formerly known as Drop Zone. It goes very high up, as you can see, and drops you straight down. For someone who has a fear of heights, this is not a ride I go on anymore, but it is thrilling for those of you who like that kind of thing. And then this is a new addition to the park, Pacific Gliders. So this is a new, pretty easygoing ride, but kind of fun. You can go up and down. You control how high up or how low you go. And behind it is the Grizzly roller coaster, which is a very old coaster. Might be original to the park, or at least it's been around at the park forever, at least for a very long time. You know, all these arcades and Midway games that people don't really play. But we're gonna come up on the Barney Oldfield ride. This used to have 2 tracks where you actually could race cars against each other. Now it's just a single track. So there goes everybody. We'll go take a look at that. But just before that, you have Larry the Singing Chicken over here. So there you go. Kind of a unique thing in the park. And then here's the Barney Oldfield. Some of the cars. As part of that, those are the original cars. That's part of this ride. They had the racing numbers on them because, again, you would actually race other drivers. There goes the Grizzly in the background. Oh, it's about to go down the big hill. Climb up again. It's a pretty big wood coaster. Given that it's in the middle of the Barney Oldfield ride, I'm going to go ahead and say this was added a little bit after the park opened. Here goes another car coming by. And there it goes down the hill. Pretty good wooden coaster, although it does hurt your back for anybody who's over 30 and considering going on it. Of course, another Dippin' Dot stand. This food market area has been part of the park since opening. They've rethemed it to like a farmer's market, but the general gist of an outdoor food area has been here since the park opening. They even have like the market truck thing that they've added to it. And then here's the Barney Oldfield's Redwood Rally. We'll go ahead and actually take a spin on it, show you what this this version of a Autopia type ride is. So you have the start your engines, again, even though you're not racing anyone anymore. I guess with the Grizzly edition, that's when they got rid of the other track. But it's kind of themed decently.
These actually move pretty fast, faster than you would think when you fully accelerate.
But here it goes past the Demon ride to the right here, but they have on the roadside. A lot of California themed and even Bay Area themed places that you're going to see advertised on the freeway, including the Winchester Mystery House. And it has different checkpoints, again, for the old racing theme. And then you continue to go past, even look, there's a Gilroy Gardens reference for the circus trees. Another video I put on my channel, both visiting Gilroy Gardens and going on a similar car ride that they have there. You got this Russian River sign here. Welcome to Santa Cruz with the natural bridges thing. And then, of course, they've added a little fox over here, chicken crossing, deer crossing, and Bigfoot crossing. Better watch out. They also have, got a car that's broken on the side here, pulled over. Sour Grapes winery sign. Bump. And they warned us. And there's Bigfoot. They weren't lying. Got the Bad Apples orchard. Ignore that corporate building in the background that's not related to the park. And then got a little water thing over here. You have the Gilroy, Garlic Capital of the World sign. And then you got a farm stand over here. With thanks for visiting. Drive safe. But there's more. The ride is not over. So we're going to continue going a little bit here. You're in like a campground area. Lazy Bear Point. So they have the giant redwoods theme here. And in fact, after this section, we're going to go through a giant redwood. There you go. Just a little bit of one. Just the stump. Under the Grizzly roller coaster. And making it past the coaster to the finish line in checkpoint 5. So do not go on that road closed detour. They have an inactive bear area, part of the Lazy Bear. The singing chickens are just over the fence here. And there you go, to the finish line. So that is the Redwood Rally ride. We'll head now towards the next section of the park. And just over here is the Demon roller coaster. When this park first opened, this ride was actually called Turn of the Century. This is not the Demon over here. This is the recently added Railblazer, kind of a single file roller coaster that they have. It does go very high up. This is a one of their top coasters. A lot of people do line up to go on this. We'll watch some people go now, and we'll hear them scream. Alright, and now we'll come up on Berserker. This ride is original to the park, and it just goes in a circle multiple times, but it's still decently fun despite that description. Kind of goes up through this barn building and back around, and that's the ride, but still a hit, as you can see. And here is the Berserker in action. Here it goes. just berserking. And just this way is Whitewater Falls. You got that classic theme park ride where you just go down a waterfall and you soak people who are watching you. This one has it on a bridge where you can just get soaked if you so choose. But this one's been around for quite some time and still gets riders. And now we'll make our way towards Hometown Square. Alright, so here we are in Hometown Square. You have the Great America Theater that still has shows on occasions, and they used to have quite a few shows, but this was Paramount's Great America, including like an ice rink show with like Star Trek and other things. But anyway, here is Hometown Square. The Marriotts, when they opened the park, created their version of Main Street USA. A little bit different, a little less than that Disneyland version, but you know, it's still something. Few buildings, and of course an actual square and gazebo in the middle, sticking to its namesake. And of course you have to have, you know, the old-timey buildings throughout the area, including these that are actually kind of nice to sit by sometimes. And you'll notice even with the music and everything, it's very similar to what is used in Disneyland with the turn-of-the-century music. But some seating areas here and a decent amount of shade. And then this gazebo occasionally has performances every now and then. But we'll go ahead and we'll also mention, aside from Hometown Square, we'll take one more look at it, the full view of the square. There are those swings that they added decently recently to Hometown Square. You got the classic swing ride right here, which is actually pretty well kept. And then Vortex is just over there, the standing coaster. And we'll go ahead and take a look. We'll take a closer look again at the swings, just slowing down now, and take a closer look at the Gold Striker coaster at the front of the park. And then there's Gold Striker over there. We'll get a little bit closer to that wood coaster. The central area used to have a railroad station for the train that used to go through here that was taken down, I believe, in the early 90s. So it's now just a very wide open, unfortunately unshaded area. But you got the Carousel Columbia just up over here. Classic Great America centerpiece. And it is actually, you know, I've shown this before in other videos, but a pretty detailed carousel. They take pretty good care of it. And you can see with the painting detail, and then, as I mentioned before, there are all these paintings of American history throughout the top carousel, from Mount Vernon to the moon landing. You got steamboats, so all of that American history on a carousel. And then the giant, very tall, very loud Gold Striker ride. And then, of course, the Star Tower. Here's some people about to go on Gold Striker. We'll see them climb this hill and scream as they descend. And, of course, you have Star Tower. This tower is original to the park, and it offers a great overall view of the area.
Well, there you have it. That was the walking tour of California's Great America. I thought I would just do a walk around video showing the park, especially because, you know, it potentially might fully close next year. It was supposed to start closing within 11 years, about a few years ago, and there's rumors it might close next year, so a little walking tour to see the park, see if it actually closes. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I'll see you all next time.